NTA International News.
General elections in Nigeria again, says INEC chairman. Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria in Canada urges international community to support President Jonathan. Plus, development partners pledge support for agricultural programs in Nigeria. A warm welcome to you on NTA International News. I'm Nancy Godi Angunuhu. We take off from Nigeria's political arena. President Goodluck Jonathan has called on the people of Yobe State to work with the PDP-led administration in the country to enjoy more meaningful development. The president made the call in Damaturu as PDP continues the last lap of its presidential campaign. We bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. On the other hand, PDP women presidential campaign train was in Lagos, southwest Nigeria. Lady Dame Patience Jonathan assured Lagosians that President Goodluck Jonathan will not fail them if given the second-term mandate. Salihu Abdullahi monitored the rally and now reports.
The venue of the rally in Lagos was agog with party supporters who turned out to listen to the campaign messages, especially one from the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan. The First Lady enumerated the achievements of Jonathan administration in the areas of enhancing social security and economic growth, like job creation, women empowerment, improved agricultural activities, as reasons PDP should be given another chance for consolidation and more opportunities. This, according to the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, is why PDP is presenting credible candidates that will liberate the people.
You can see that under you win, job is provided, skill acquisition is provided, grants is provided low. We did not end it here. They now map out G-win, which is Gun win. And the Gun win, they say they are putting it in budget. And they put it in budget so that we will have money. Nobody will stop us. Our girls will go to school. Our girls will be trained. Our girls will get employment. Our girls will get loan.
Other speakers say PDP is the answer to the desired change that is being clamored in the country and urged party supporters to come out in their numbers on March 28th and April 11th to practically demonstrate their love for the party by voting for its candidate into all elective positions.
We want change in Nigeria, but the change we want is structural change. We want a Nigeria that is just and fair to all of us. The president has demonstrated that what we are doing with women is a movement that has never been done in the history of Nigeria. This vote, we want to vote. We want to say freedom for us.
The PDP Women Presidential Campaign train moved to Osun State, where the First Lady was represented by the wife of the Vice President, Amina Namadi Sambo. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
In another development, Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Atahiru Jega says the rescheduled 2015 general elections will hold as there are no indication of any challenge that can warrant another postponement. Briefing accredited observers at the International Conference Center in Abuja, the INEC chairman also disclosed that 81% of the permanent voter cards has so far been collected in readiness for the election. Runke Kolawole reports.
Briefing the accredited observers, INEC chairman said the commission has developed comprehensive guidelines for election monitoring, urging them to be conversant with the provisions. He said he is aware that there are lingering concerns on whether the election will hold or not. He allayed the fears of Nigerians that there is no threat to the election as the 6 weeks postponement has created the avenue to add value to logistics and operational preparations.
As far as INEC is concerned, these elections will hold as rescheduled. Observers are likely to adopt more aggressive attitudes to the country's election and its managers in early post-authoritarian elections. Subsequently, especially if election management keeps improving, the relations are likely to improve and become cordial. Therefore, we employ our observers that they objectively assess the electoral process, help instill public confidence.
Please observe well and say only what you've seen.
The business of election observation, therefore, is a serious one which demands professionalism.
On securing the 2015 electoral process, the Inspector General of Police said there is synergy between the police and other security agencies to ensure that all eligible voters feel safe to exercise their franchise.
We will provide personnel enough for the managers of the elections, that's the INEC officials, from the headquarters to the various offices and direct that will be created even in the field.
107 observer groups have been accredited for the election.
Meanwhile, as Nigeria prepares for the 2015 general elections, politicians have been challenged not to overheat the polity through their utterances for a peaceful election to take place. This was the thrust of a one-day interactive session organized by Think Nigeria Christian Muslim Movement, convened by the National President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Pastor Ayo Orishejafo. Ruben Okala reports.
Membership of the Christian Muslim movement consists of leaders of the two major religions with objective of fostering peace and unity in the country. With the theme towards a peaceful and purposeful political transition in 2015, the group is here to deliberate on the need for a peaceful political transition. The forum was interactive as stakeholders bear their minds with optimism that Nigeria will weather the political storm.
Begin to emphasize to people in every sermon that Christians are safe everywhere, Muslims are safe everywhere. Yes, you are a Muslim. Yes, you are a Christian. But yes, you are a Nigerian.
Let us save Nigeria always and save our country from the hands of its enemies.
The representatives of the two major religions have spoken. Their desire is the need for Nigerians, especially the political class, to embrace peace for the good of the country. In Abuja, Ruben Okala, NTA News.
The Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria chapter in Canada is urging the international community to support President Goodluck Jonathan, whose administration has redefined tax holiday incentive for investors. Members of the group made a presentation at the African Investors Conference in Greater Toronto area. Joy Osiago has details.
The Canada chapter of the Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria, TAN, took its advocacy drive to Canadian investors in Toronto. They told investors to take advantage of the incentives put in place by the Goodluck Sambu government to make giant strides in the economy. The sensitization conference, backed by the Nigerian delegation to the Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada Mining Conference, noted some of the accomplishments of the administration despite the challenges in the last few years.
Jonathan brought out the qualities in Nigerian women. Jonathan says that the wealth of the nation is for everybody, all Nigerians. Even for foreigners. If you come and invest in Nigeria now, you are making a lot of profit. That's right. Jonathan has done much. And I expect the international community to back this noble man. Because if you mean well for our country, you back the good president.
Members of TAN Canada are of the belief that the responsive strides should propel Nigerian eligible voters to elect President Goodluck Jonathan for another 4 years. In Toronto, Canada, Joy Usiago, NTA News.
Down here in Nigeria, and to gender matters now, Minister of Women Affairs Hajia Zainab Mena says it is critical for all stakeholders to keep a sharp focus on financing gender equality and women empowerment. The minister stated this at a ministerial roundtable at the United Nations, where she enumerated the successes recorded by President Goodluck Jonathan's administration in women and girls development issues. Adeyemi Omojola.
The 2015 International Women's Day and the 59th session of the Commission on the Status of Women afforded participants a good time to advance achievements, identify and focus greater attention on women's rights and equality by mobilizing all to do their part. Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Hajia Zainab Mena, at the ministerial roundtable disclosed that President Jonathan has done a lot by allocating funds for GWIN and other programs that specifically address the needs of disadvantaged women and girls in Nigeria. This, she said, has earned the country international recognition.
In the last 2 years, 2013 to 2015, GWIN has gained international recognition and attained a good practice status. World Bank and the African Development Bank have applauded Nigeria for this initiative.
This government has really done well, and we're expecting that more of women in the country be given opportunities.
3 key events: Beijing Plus 20 Global Women Conference, 15 years of the and the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325, Women, Peace and Security, coming up at the same time, was not seen as a mere coincidence, but a platform to address the gaps in the MDGs as the global dialogue to formulate an all-inclusive successor framework gains momentum.
Women must every obstacle, everything that drags them back, and move forward.
The implementation of the 2015 Development Agenda is to start immediately, unlike the MDG agenda, which started about 6 years after its declaration in year 2000. From the United Nations headquarters in New York City, Adeyemi Omojola Fatoba, NTA News.
Still talking gender, despite great strides made by international women's rights movements over the years, women and girls around the world are still married as children or trafficked into forced labor and sex slavery. This was the thrust of a discourse at the commemoration of the International Women's Day by the New Nigeria and Youth Empowerment Initiative. Taiwo Dubesan tells us more.
All around the world, International Women's Day represents an opportunity to celebrate the achievements of women while calling for greater equality. It is against this background that Women in New Nigeria organized this lecture on issues commonly associated with women's rights as the main discourse.
I am writing for a day where our brothers and sons stand in the same place. That's a real respect. And start like that, and in your before they
The International Women's Day, the organizers say, is an occasion to take stock of progress made towards achieving gender equality and women's empowerment. Although progress has been, Nigeria is still a long way from achieving gender equality.
I want the Nigerian woman to know that, look, time has come that we must all bring our strengths together, stop pulling each other down, and then move forward.
I would try again to uphold womanhood and to energize the hearts of our grassroots women, to remind them about the fact that their hands remain their workshop. We don't be waiting on and on for help and handlers. There's a lot that the woman can do to help herself.
Items made by women at the grassroots, ranging from shoes, slippers, washing up liquids, cooking spices, and more, were exhibited at the occasion. Taiwo Odubeson, NTA News.
Watching news on NTA, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. And our recap of our major stories. We earlier told you that INEC Chairman Professor Atahiru Jega has said that no challenge can warrant the postponement of 2015 general elections in Nigeria again. Up ahead on the news, development partners pledge support for agricultural programs in Nigeria. Details in a moment.
The Nigerian government reduced the amount of subsidy paid on petroleum products and chose to invest its 41% share of the safe subsidy funds into the Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program, SURE-P. Today, we'll look at the numbers. SURE-P has achieved 50% decrease in maternal mortality rates and 40% decrease in neonatal mortality rates in Nigeria. Over 8,500 skilled workers have been employed for public works. Over 1,000 mass transit buses have been provided for the public, and 40 Priority 1 roads are undergoing maintenance throughout the country. SURE-P has created 185,000 jobs, placed over 20,000 graduates in the graduate internship program, and trained over 1,000 auto technicians at the National Automotive Council. 1,200 health facilities have been supplied with drugs and medical equipment. 520,000 pregnant women have received care, resulting in over 100,000 deliveries in SURE-P MCH facilities. These are just some of the ways SURE-P is making life better for you and I.
SURE-P, delivering service with integrity.
Is sizzling?
Yes, it is expensive, but it is a must-have.
Is insightful?
We are interested in seeing that this accord is respected.
Is informative?
Speed accounts for 50.8% of crashes.
Frontiers on NTA International.
Thank you for being there. We move on to business news. The federal government has launched a business development services marketplace for enhanced performance of micro, small and medium-scale enterprises in Nigeria. Correspondent Vivian Idepefo reports that the launch of the network is significant in the current administration's determination to reposition the micro, small and medium enterprises sector as a major driver of inclusive and sustainable economic growth. The report.
A recent survey of the micro, small and medium enterprises identified funding as the biggest challenge for small businesses in the country. It also identified that 84% of these businesses had to resort to borrowing and personal savings for funding. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Olusegun Aganga, said the project will serve as a link with financial and address challenges hampering the development of major growth sectors of the economy.
This sector now accounts for over 50% of our economy and generates more than 70% of the jobs in this country.
We see this program as a right step in the right direction towards empowering MSMEs for improved productivity and competitiveness.
That this will also help our trainees, a lot of them, to get the necessary support going.
The project is focused on stimulating industry activities in certain sectors in order to create jobs and improve the fortunes of industries. In Abuja, Vivian Idepefo, NTA News.
A look at agriculture. Action Aid and other development partners have pledged to support agricultural development in Nigeria. This is coming as the international organizations show concerns over the budgetary allocation to agriculture this year. Musa Baba Aliyu has the details.
Nigeria is among the African countries that are signatories to Maputo Declaration that mandated member nations to allocate 10% of their total budgets to agriculture. In the 2015 budget, which is before the National Assembly, 0.9% related to agriculture sector against the 1.44% of 2014. This is as a result of the falling in oil prices, which forced the government to cut down its spendings, as said by the Minister of Finance.
Where the allocations crashed are areas that are supposed to support smallholder farmers, especially women.
If the federal government is increasing the budget, it will also help them to plan on how to absorb the huge production we are going to make, because if the budget is increased, it means the production will also increase.
In spite of this, development partners are of the view that allocation to women and youth in agriculture, training and financial support need more allocations.
The House has done well by reducing their own budgetary allocation. The presidency has done well. So these monies that have been reduced, can we channel them to these critical sectors? Can we channel them to the agri sector? Can we channel them to the education sector? Can we channel them to the health sector and to the women affairs sector?
Agriculture is rated the highest provider of employment, accounting for about 70% of the labor force. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Now, Nigeria and Ghana are the two West Africa's largest economies. In recent times, the two countries have been trying to take their comparative advantage further by teaming up in business. But our bureau chief in Ghana, Cordelia Okwoma, tells us this might just be a tall dream as the Ghanaian investment hurdles appear too high to scale through.
Nigeria and Ghana have symbiotic relationship that stakeholders believe should be harnessed for mutual benefits to further boost the economies of the two countries, which are currently numbers 1 and 2 largest economies in the sub-region. Both countries control 60% of the trade in West Africa, and as of 2014, foreign trade stood at $1.5 billion in the oil and gas, telecom and banking sectors, not mentioning the informal and cross-border trade, which are not accounted for.
If the two work harmoniously together, things will be better. This is true given the fact that they will be able to massive business transformation with the two regional powers of our time.
The government is committed in absolucy to support any move that is geared towards not just deepening our trade relations, but expanding it.
It was with a view to consolidating the trade partnership between the two countries that the businessmen and women in this room came together.
Structures like this where we can actually meet people face to face, maybe that we've not met before, and exploring new avenues. It's going to be of a mutual benefit for all of us. We are brothers, and by the time we do things together, it will foster a good and more cordial relationship within us.
But it appears the Ghanaian business environment, especially for foreign traders, under which Nigeria is categorized, will put a lot of them off. Under the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Law of 2014, any foreigner set to do business in the country must put down $1 million backed up with $200,000 minimum capital if he is in partnership with a Ghanaian. But if the business is wholly owned, a minimum capital requirement is $500,000. Some stakeholders believe that if such barriers are not there, and if the huge market potentials were to be properly harnessed, Ghana had no business going cap in hand to the IMF. They are therefore advocating that all forms of barriers be removed, just as they are wondering, for instance, why the common external tariff, which ECOWAS leaders agreed to take off on the 1st of January 2015, is yet to commence 3 months after. From Accra, Ghana, Cordelia Okwoma, NTA News.
National development has been hinged on firm foundation on ethics and values in any society. This came to the fore at the 2015 Ethics and Uche Nwizu reports.
The theme of the summit, consolidating the national foundations by ethics and values for national transformation and development, observers say, is most apt at a time Nigeria is preparing for general elections.
We are talking about the social, economic, philosophical, biological, and human international foundations of a country, starting by the individuals, as they do the self-policing.
So we are looking at catching them young. The whole program is cut across the entire parastatals and everybody.
Various speakers examined the extent of compliance with ethics and values in both public and private sectors and recommended that families and communities should consolidate and practicalize all norms. They said Servicom should be made an independent body for effectiveness. Another development at the forum was the unveiling of 2 books by the representative of the Minister of Education. The books, reviewers say, are potential instruments for fighting corruption and poverty and transforming the minds of the citizenry.
And you find that all of them, the themes are talking about ethics and values and all very positive issues that would actually help in meaningful development of Nigeria.
The 3-day summit is in collaboration with heads of service and all MDAs. Uche Nwizu, NTA News.
Towards fine-tuning vehicular movements in Nigeria, computerized vehicle testing and inspection will soon become a prerequisite for the issuance of roadworthiness certificate for motorists in Nigeria if the wishes of the author of a book, Road Traffic Administration and Management in Nigeria, comes to reality. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday witnessed the launch of the book.
What prompted me in writing this book is considering the challenges on the road, like the way and manner the traffic management. I believe that there must be an insider's view to tell other Nigerians what should be done, to package this book as a guide to motorists and to road users.
That was the motivating factor that led to the production. 103-page book on road traffic administration and management in Nigeria. The book dwelt extensively on the use of computerized tests and inspection tool for of roadworthiness certificates for motorists.
The book, it's knowledgeable, it's full informative, in the sense that it helps us to know, the rules and regulations, of how to drive on a highway safe without any hitches.
So this book, I think it will go a long way to, bring out the knowledge an average road user needs, to avoid so many things that could lead to accidents.
Organizations saddled with the responsibility of road management in Nigeria took turn to appreciate the concepts and content of the book.
Plying a vehicle on the road that is not safe is actually a life that is endangered. But then, with this new computerized model, at least you will be sure that your car is mechanically safe to be on the road.
The guests, while commending the transformation that has taken place in the transport sector, say an efficiently managed road transport system is not only key to providing proficient transport network, but will also promote safety of passengers and haulage of goods. In Abuja, Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
And sports is next. Super Falcons vow to claim maximum points against Mali in first leg final round of All Africa Games qualifying Bamako. As draws for UEFA Champions League last 8 holds Friday in Nyon, Switzerland. Kene Mabodike has more on Sports Update.
Nigeria Super Falcons left Abuja Thursday to Bamako, Mali for this weekend's first leg final round of All Africa Games qualifier against their Malian counterparts. Jennifer Okoye, who witnessed the team's final training midweek in Abuja, reports that the coach Edwin Okon tutored players are in high spirits ahead of the crucial tie.
No excuses for this one, we have to qualify. So qualifying means going to Mali and picking up the point and coming back here and finishing up.
The Executive Committee of the Nigerian Football Federation has approved the appointment of Mohamed Sanusi as the new General Secretary of the Federation. The appointment takes immediate effect after the resignation of Musa Amadou on Wednesday. Barcelona completed a double against Manchester City midweek at the Nou Camp.